Welcome everybody to this Ward's Auto Fast Chat video. I'm Steve Bell, Chief Analyst for Automotive Connectivity with Ward's Intelligence. I'm joined today by Maxime Flamand, Chief Technology Officer with the 5G Automotive Association. 5GAA is a global cross-industry organization from automotive, technology, and telecoms, working together to develop end-to-end solutions for future mobility and transportation services. Welcome, Maxime.
Thank you very much, Steve. Very nice to be with you. Looking forward.
It's been a year since we after that great demo that you ran in M City. So I know you've got some things coming up, and 5G new radio, C-V2X Direct Connect is continuing to progress. So what are you anticipating the automakers are going to show in Berlin, and how's this likely to help with saving vulnerable road user lives?
A couple of things in your question. So perhaps the first thing that I would like to say is that indeed 5G V2X, as we call it, 5G V2X Direct, is a standardized technology on which the vehicle manufacturers have shown a lot of interest over the past years, and they would really like to make it happen, especially with clear messages at the European level. So this new technology is going to be shown with quite a large ecosystem of 5G members. We will show, among others, like you mentioned, protection of vulnerable road users. That means cyclists and pedestrians. And the reason why we often, like last year, focus on bicycles and pedestrians is that they represent a large amount of or large proportion of the fatalities at different on most of the world. I would say European, US, and other places. This is 20% of the fatalities at European levels for the pedestrians, only 10% of the cyclists. So this represents a large proportion, and we really want to bring V2X as one of the solution to increase the vulnerable road user protection around the world.
So, Maxime, in M City, the demos were in a closed environment. So in Berlin, will it be the same again?
Yeah, so a little bit different this time around. So you use the same kind of approach that has been identified by different standardization organizations. On one side, active detection of the vulnerable road users. That means that the cyclist, for example, is equipped with a device that is actively exchanging messages, and we use standardized message types for that. And then the second approach is to have passive detections, with the sensors being equipped either on vehicles or on the roadside, and then through this passive detection of the pedestrian, for example, we notify other vehicles of a potential danger. Now you asked a question about the main difference in Berlin. So we are doing two different things. On one side, we show the direct communication with using this new technology that I mentioned, the 5G V2X Direct. We also look at something that is much more scalable as we speak today, is the use of the mobile network. And we also showed that in Detroit last year. And that requires cross mobile network operator interactions and collaboration. And in this case, instead of T-Mobile US and Verizon in the US, now this time around we have Deutsche Telecom and Vodafone cooperating with what we call a local edge connect. That means that the edge infrastructure of the Deutsche Telecom is directly connected to the Vodafone edge infrastructure, which in turn means that you can master quality of service on your mobile network using 5G.
So that's utilizing MEC, but it's also, is it also utilizing this new sort of API, the network interoperability APIs as well, so that they can share that data?
Yes, so that the data is using indeed some APIs that are standardized by different organizations, but most important is the local edge connect that is mastering the connection between the different edges and this is standardized by 3GPP. Where we also put emphasis is that some people may have one navigation app running on their phone, and others have different. You have the Apples and the Googles around the world, and then they like Apple apps or Google apps or whatever. So you will always have different apps running on different devices. And what we want to show is also the interoperability between these apps when you're using the Edge Connect facilities that are offered by the mobile network operators. And this time around, we do that on the public streets. So we don't use a specific facility like we did at the MCT in Detroit.
That is different. Actually, on the public streets, it's quite a difference, really. Cool. So you also mentioned sensors. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed is there's an advancement of software-defined vehicles. They start to generate a lot more data. Are you optimistic this data can be used for predictive safety capability? Leveraging that low latency MEC, or what's the advantage, or is there an advantage?
Yeah. So if you would have asked us 5 years ago, we would have said MEC is around the corner. It's going to be there and change the world. We see that the adoption of the MEC in the automotive is not as great as we had forecasted, but there are things that we can do, and I think one of the main thing is to make sure that the OEMs understand the opportunities of using the edge computing and grasp this in cooperation with the mobile network operators. And this sometimes is a challenge, especially in spaces around Europe. You have so many mobile network operators, and they don't necessarily have the drive to cooperate with each other. They're actually fierce competitors, and so we understand that there are some challenges with this that is taken or being addressed at the moment within organizations like 5GA, but others also.
The SDV aspect,
yeah.
with more data coming from the vehicle, that obviously gives more opportunity to use that in a predictive manner as well, right?
Yes, and especially that we are seeing a new paradigm shift within the vehicles that are more with centralized computing within the architecture of the vehicle. That means that data is easier accessed, for example, from a sensor to another part of the vehicle. So that's what we call software-defined vehicles, actually, which is I would say a stepping stone that will change the way the vehicle software is brought towards the vehicle. And that's for me really introduction of new features along the lifetime of the vehicle, and that will be then a new opportunity also for V2X applications.
As you start to look at this, and I mean, one of the challenges you and I both know is that V2X has been around for 20 plus years and intelligent transport systems, but there's new technology coming along, and sort of the merging of those industries. We talked about telecoms and infrastructure. So that virtualization capability and the sort of edge compute, are you sort of optimistic that this cloud virtualization can help change the business model and move this forward going forward?
Oh, I'm definitely optimistic, and I think there are a lot of people that are also capitalizing on this. all vehicle manufacturers are looking at the possibility to virtualize their software, their architecture, and eventually their use cases. Another piece of the triangle, I would say, here is the road operators. Mm-hmm. And these road operators are also digitalizing their infrastructure and making steps towards virtualization of some of their let's say infrastructure. So that's also an opportunity to evolve at the same time, whereas the traffic managers are digitalizing and using more cloud services to perform their services, and the vehicle manufacturers are then also putting software and introducing software along the lifetime of the vehicle. There, I would say that the cloud services are where the roads and the vehicle information would meet eventually, and that's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you and I were both in ITS in Dubai, and I think that there was that absolute sort of shift in mindset that sees the sort of cloud virtualization helping to change the business model. So it's good. Well, Maxime, thank you for taking the time to share your insights with us. It's been fascinating, and once again, thank you all for joining us for another Ward's Auto Fast Chat.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much, Steve.